Flag Wars is a story about a neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio that's going through transition. There's a long-time community of black residents, and white gays are moving in and buying homes and renovating them.
We went in with a curiosity. Does it look different when two historically oppressed groups try to live together? Or does it resemble what we typically know to be gentrification?
Yeah, we bought 4 buildings, so about 17 units down here.
The gay residents, as they're moving in, they hang the rainbow flag. And in response, some black residents are hanging the black nationalist flag.
We're concerned about growth and opportunity.
So in a way, these flags are an outward manifestation of conflict.
If you don't want to renovate it, then don't live in it.
You don't try to take somebody's history away from them because you want their house.
Good morning, guys. On this chilly Tuesday, I'm so glad I've got my Tiburon 2021 personalized Delaney, you gotta be in the club, sweatshirt on. But hey, that was a film clip from a film made several years ago called Flag Wars, and it is about a neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio, and it was shot over a 4-year period. And the entire movie's about 90 minutes, so we're not going to watch the entire thing, but over the next few days we're going to watch some clips. Super long clip today, alright, so you can kick back, pop some popcorn, and relax, and but pay attention to this. It covers a lot of issues, a lot of social issues, alright, including gentrification. And so if you're not familiar with that, we'll certainly talk about it today. Alright, so once again, goal for the day here. Think about, your home. If you own your home, should you be able to do whatever you want with it? What are the rules? What are the laws? All right, you guys are seniors now. Who knows? I've got kids that I taught several years ago who are homeowners right now, and so there's a lot of things to think about. So we're approaching our Cambridge skills on a little bit different level, that senior level. All right, so please keep up with this, and we're going to work through this for a couple of days, including a group assignment tomorrow that you guys need to be able to collaborate together. So that's tomorrow's goal for the day. But let's talk about this film. And so I don't want to say it's an age-old story, but certainly things we've seen throughout the years. And so, not sure if you read A Raisin in the Sun, the Lorraine Hansberry play, last year as a junior. I used to teach it to my juniors. I was planning on teaching it to my juniors last year until coronavirus hit, and we switched it up. And if you were in my class, you know that we did. Their eyes were watching God instead. But it is certainly a story that deals with neighborhoods like this that undergo change. And an interesting story, and kind of a little funny one, is that there was a follow-up about 50 years later to that Lorraine Hansberry play that is called Clybourne Park. And so Clybourne Park is really about gentrification, where there are several white families moving into this low-income housing and buying up some of the houses. And so that's what you're going to see here. And as the directors and the producers of the film Flag Wars say, that this is kind of this interesting aspect here of these two traditionally oppressed groups that are kind of battling it out here in this one neighborhood, and we want to see what happens with that. So there are a lot of components to this as we go through it. There are characters, certain ones that you need to know. All right, so before we jump into the film itself, we're going to jump in and take a little look at some material that goes along with it to familiarize yourself with some of the people real live people that are members of this community, and what they have to go through. All right, and then just a little heads up, tomorrow you guys will be placed into some similar situations to work these things out as groups. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into Google Classroom. Let's take a look at some of the material for Flag Wars, and then we'll go ahead and jump into the film after that. Okay, so this is the discussion guide for Flag Wars, and you can see Linda Good Bryant, Laura Poitras. Those were the people we saw at the intro video. All right, and they have a nice little letter here. This is all on your Google Classroom. But this was, once again, a 4-year endeavor in Columbus, Ohio. What I really want to point out in this particular discussion guide are the people, all right? And so, they are important to, here, this is the program description to the story, obviously. So these are the key people, and full disclosure here, I was going to try to make a graphic organizer chart for you to take notes on each one of these, but it just wasn't happening. So some people you'll see, some realtors, all right? Nina Masseria is a realtor. You'll see her at the very beginning, all right, who lives in the neighborhood. And I'm not even going to try to say this. We'll just call him Chief, and refer to him as Chief in our discussion question today. But he is a lifelong resident, and he's an artist. And so you'll see his house. He'll talk about his house that he purchased, I think, in the late 70s. And what he wants from really the zoning court judge, Judge Pfeiffer. And so there's a very interesting scene that you guys will see here shortly. All right, a few others, and these are certainly not all of the characters you'll see, or the people in the film. You'll certainly see some other major or medium major characters. But Lynn Mitchell, lifelong resident of the neighborhood, and she's unable to keep her house in good repair. And Jim Yoder is a man who moved from the country to the city to buy and renovate a house in the neighborhood. So keep these people in mind, please. Once again, this is on your Google Classroom. Feel free to print this out if you would like. I'll be pulling some discussion questions, including today's exit slip question, from this particular discussion guide. Okay, it's a good thing to have this. If you can print some of these things out, fantastic. That's great. All right, and we'll go ahead and start the film. As I said, today's going to be a little bit long. All right, so please pay attention. Unfortunately, I could not find a link that has closed captioning on it, even though this was shot for PBS. All right, so please pay attention, listen carefully, shut off all other distractions. All right, we might pause along the way to check for understanding. It's about student engagement. And let's go ahead and jump into Flag Wars.
96, established in 1964.
Nina speaking, may I help you? Okay. It's a cute house. There are tenants in there, so we have to give notice before we show, but no, it's more Linden area. No, actually, I had 2 other ones up there, but they also went into contract last week. I think that's pretty much it for that kind of money.
Hello?
Rodney? Do you have a different watch than me or what? I'm just kidding. It's Nina. You must be on gay time or something, huh?
An old part of town is getting a new look, but not everyone is happy about it. In fact, people are buying up homes in Old Town East, just east of downtown. They are fixing them up and selling them for big dollars, and in some cases, big profits. As 10 TV Eyewitness News reporter Kelly Hudson shows us, some die-hard residents are wondering if they will survive this rehab boom.
Displacement of elderly and low-income residents is a real fear factor here. Mallory says she's seen it happen before.
I'm not complaining about bringing the living condition up. I'm concerned about the welfare of other people and how can they, in turn, get financed to keep their homes up.
Good question.
This is what I'm concerned about.
Good question.
Looks like
it's ready, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'd love to grab that thing. It's such a beautiful building.
It is. Do you want
there.
to double or what?
Yeah. They won't talk to anybody.
Who's in there?
That's some family's been there forever.
Oh, yeah.
So you tell by the curtains, they've been up forever, too.
Yeah, and the carpet on the front porch.
Mm-hmm. It's a sweet house. There's people waiting in line for that one. It's going to get hot. I knew it. And I'm going to sweat. I hate to sweat. These are halfway houses on either end. Still haven't given up their hold to the neighborhood. The last of the few. This, that, and that. You know, it takes care of that block. You know, let's move down the next block. That idiot that owns that one on 21st and Bride, and that big beautiful thing that won't say, I'm not selling. But oh well, he too shall pass, and that may be the only way it sells. So.
And nobody can tell you anything. Jesus said he'll heal your whole house on this thing. I'll be ready today to call on him. Don't be ashamed. You're ashamed of him in this while. Praise the Lord.
More at 228-4350. The Near East Side of Columbus is in transition. Not everyone is pleased with the changes. Julie Grant Cooper reports on the fight of one African-American East Sider to keep a sign over his front door, a sign he calls a symbol of the soul of the community.
Eyewitness News.
Hello, this is Chief Baba Luke Bala calling for Eric Collins.
We're gonna go right in that door, that African gallery right there. You going to? We're gonna make some artwork. Don't you? Okay.
I have a sign up that says Chief Shango Badina, 1270 Bryden Road, the Aboboga Aviliwojise. I went to Nigeria last year and was made a chief, so I put my name and my address above my door. And I carved it myself. I'm an artist, I'm a wood carver. And a gentleman a couple of streets down who's recently moved in the neighborhood called the city inspectors, and the city inspector came out and said I had to take my sign down. And I said, I don't want to take it down. So then they wanted me to go before the historical people, and they said, well, according to your plans, we don't have any problems with what you want to do, but we have 2 people who want to speak against it. And they were part of the gay community, which I have no problems with them as long as they don't bother me. I'm not gay, but if someone else wants to be gay, that's their business. And I didn't vote for this neighborhood to be historical, but that's one of the ways, the tools that they use to gentrify neighborhoods.
Next.
All right. I'm going to head back down to Bryden Road and see if I can't find some ladders or scaffolding, some workers, and do a permit check, see if folks have their proper paperwork. Hey, how you doing today? I'm wanting to see what you're doing on the paint colors. Because what's going to happen is if I drive by here and I see there is a change of paint color, orders are going to get issued. We've had orders on this fella for months, and they're just not doing anything. And porch is falling down here. You can see where parts of the porch eaves are falling down. Here's the one I was telling you about. You've been asking me when that's going to get to court, and we're working on the paperwork on that right now.
Is there anyone else that needs to check in? Please come up here.
Metro, Linda.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bill Hedrick. I'm the prosecutor assigned to this courtroom. You're here today for an arraignment. Most people who come to this courtroom are here for misdemeanors of the 3rd degree. Those are usually housing and zoning offenses. Technically, those offenses are punishable up to 60 days in jail and a $500 fine. Again, that is the maximum. Typically, that is not what happens to someone even if they are found guilty. The main concern of this court is compliance. In other words, if there's a problem with your property, that it is fixed or corrected. Jane Zink?
Not guilty.
Eric Laufer?
Not guilty.
Linda Mitchell?
Not guilty.
If you guys get a chance, I'm going to be at, if you haven't seen too many houses, we've got 3 other ones open, so 814 Bryden's going to be open. It's a fun house.
814, that's the one.
Yeah, and 816 Franklin and 1059 Oak.
Full bath in the basement. Hello, I'm Lynn. You're in here on the ground floor of the house. Most of the house is open.
So tell everybody what it looked like before.
Piece of shit, it looks great. Looks beauteous.
Isn't it wonderful what fags in the urban area can do?
In only a moment. One short spring.
I think what's happening here is very much like Bosnia, except we're more sophisticated, but the end results are the same, ethnic cleansing. There's a new surge of people who are moving into the community who want to genderfy it, and they have different ways of doing that. A lot of them come in and use the city to code enforcement to put pressure on the people who don't have the money to maybe maintain the homes the way 2 European American males have. I mean, they have a lot of money. When you have 2 European males live together, they have a lot of money. If they don't have kids, they have even more money.
Tell us what's happening tomorrow then. My understanding, I could be fined or put in jail until the sign comes down. And I don't want to take my sign down. I'm an artist, you know. That's my name, that's my address, that's me expressing myself. It's not hurting anybody.
Good afternoon. Don't mean disrespect by the hat, but I'm a Yoruba priest, and I would like to be able to wear that. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Judge Pfeiffer. Please state your name.
I'm Chief Baba Luke Bala Shango Baidina, 1270 Bryden Road.
Let's go back and look at the record.
As a property owner and a taxpayer, I do not wish to relinquish my right as to what I can do to the exterior of my house. When I bought my house in '76, that was not written in the deed. This sign was up before it was historical, 1979. It's just a replacement of the sign. So it should come under the grandfather clause.
Well, fundamentally, you made an agreement back on January 11th. And the stipulations show that you're not in compliance with that agreement.
I see no way I can get in compliance, because each time I go down, there will be a group of people who are not of my mindset who will cause those people who are like them to vote against me. So I don't see how it's possible for me to get. And then it doesn't specify clearly what is the problem with the sign. The sign is my name and address to my house that I own.
The issue before this court is very narrow. Is there evidence that shows you're not in compliance with it? And the answer is yes, there's evidence. That's the narrow issue before this court today.
But I see no way for me to get in compliance with that. I'm sorry. Please.
At this point, if there's no other evidence on the issue, I find you in contempt. And I will reschedule to a next hearing to look at evidence as to what's appropriate to try to get compliance.
Well, she wasn't home when Tom and him went by.
Oh, that was Brad. That's Brad.
I don't know Brad. I don't know.
That's Brad that just went by. That's the one that had the car with no license plates. Sitting there.
That was him?
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't know him.
That's one got that house, turquoise house.
He comes to meet no that
Yeah,
I don't know
right.
him. I don't know
No,
him.
that's him.
I still didn't know that. That's him and his wife.
He ain't got no wife. He like this. He ain't got. That's a friend.
Well, it is his friend.
There ain't no girlfriend.
He wasn't no man. She was a woman now. Don't tell me.
I know she was a woman.
Well, then you should say it was his girlfriend now.
It wasn't his girlfriend, I tell you that.
Hey.
Jim Yoder?
Yeah.
I'm Charlie Gerhardt,
Hi.
Flagship Mortgage.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
How close to being finished are we here?
Well,
we're talking about if 100% is livable and maybe with a few odds and ends to do.
you know
How
what?
close are you to
I
the
would say
movie?
probably 85, 90%. That's what I would say, because a lot of what's left, the big stuff that's left really is putting the kitchen in.
We've talked a little bit about the financing
Yeah.
and what we need to do to get the financing to happen. There's a wide range of lenders out there, but most lenders will not lend money on a house that isn't finished, that isn't
Mhm.
habitable,
Mhm.
that isn't in at least average condition.
Mhm.
So for me to try to go to those normal channels to get mortgage money for you is out of the question. I have resources and contacts in town where we bring a lender right to the house. We've already done your financial statement, so we know what we need to do to make it easier for you. And obviously, and quite frankly, I don't know how you've been doing it. I know you've been sleeping here on the floor, but how you've been putting together the resources to take it as far as you've taken it
I
is
don't
beyond
know.
me.
I never sat down with all my payments, what my minimum payment was, and added them all up, because I knew I'd flip out if I saw it.
Well, and I mean, are you worried about the crime in the neighborhood?
I know it's there. I'm aware of it. I've been warned about it. These days, it's everywhere, though, and you just have to, I'll get a privacy fence and get the security in that end, and it's just one of those things when you're in an area like this that's changing over, it's just a fact of life. You have to deal with it.
At last, we're blessed with a quorum. NEAC Zoning Committee will stand in order.
Governor's Terrace Apartments on the north side of Broad Street between Ohio and Governor's Place. The project involves the construction of 2 garage areas for garage parking, the relocation of the existing public alley to the north of the property. We believe you will find that there is substantial community support for the project now.
Now, I would like to hear from the residents of Governor's Terrace.
there's a problem with the crime. The crime is really bad, and I think by the cars being in the alley where they are now, they're a sitting duck. They're just sitting there waiting for something to happen to them.
There is way too much traffic that goes through there late at night. You cannot sleep. You know, you get a lot of people coming through there, and a lot of people wanting to break into cars. I've witnessed it. I've called 911, and you know, the cops are great because they're right there. They come right over. I watch them every time. I identify them from my window. You know, the cops call me, and you know, it's like, yeah, they're out there breaking in.
I think the approach that developers have taken exacerbates the issue of distrust, because they've picked off certain people and it's turned the neighborhood against each other, and frankly it's turned it into a black-white issue. That's not the kind of neighborly thing to do.
My name is Myrtle Floyd. I live at 65 Governor's Place.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't think this alley should be changed. This man's been fighting us, like I said, all the people is up on their property on Governor's Place. They're up in age and they don't feel like him moving that alley close up there to that guy's house. We didn't have a problem until they come in here. So all these people moved in here and they just want to do what they want to do with no concern of ours. And so, and Mr. Horsley called me a tough cookie, and I don't like that. I have a name. And so that shows that he's not with us. That's all I have to say.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the William H. Thomas Art Gallery. This is our 23rd year in existence, and we thought that we would take this opportunity to honor our young who will eventually one day take our place, just as we have taken our ancestors before us place. Well, some of this is from Cleveland, some from Cincinnati.
Very nice.
Very nice. Oh, thank you. I'm glad y'all could come.
Thank you.
Yes, come again.
Hello, neighbor.
They do it well. How are you?
I was wondering if you would read my petition.
Communities of the Near East Side of Brighton Road can demonstrate their support to the sign of the gallery at 1270. So this is a code issue or something?
I think it's a First Amendment issue. I have a right to express myself. I have a right to have my name on my door. I have a right to have my address on there. And the historical thing is fine, but what it does is gentrifies the neighborhood and forces the indigenous people out because they can't afford the higher taxes or what they want done architecturally. And I think they have just as much right to be here and as the person that has a lot of money that wishes to move back into the neighborhood.
See, the problem is this is a separate piece of paper. I need to sign the same one because if it's scratched out, I don't know that another piece doesn't replace this.
So you were like this writing on the top of this paper? Is that right?
Yeah. I have no problem with your sign at all. But if I could have that on the same paper, I have no problem.
I'll do that and I'll come back.
Excellent.
Okay, so you have an exit slip to go along with this today. Some of the stuff we just saw, all right? Thinking about your own home, and that's going to be take us through Friday of this week and answer this exit slip question. So let's go ahead and take a look at it.